My name is Monica Gleberman, and you're listening to Silence on Set podcast. On today's podcast, we're talking to the cast of Foundation. The show chronicles a band of exiles on their unprecedented journey to rebuild civilization amid the fall of the Galactic Empire. Crucial individuals transcending space and time are faced with deadly crises, shifting loyalties, and complicated relationships that will ultimately determine the fate of humanity. So, to start us off talking about what we can expect this upcoming season after that chaotic, crazy season 1 finale, here's Lee Pace and Laura Birn. First of all, I have to ask though, Lee, I wrote this down. It's been over and over again, so I just want to hear your opinion of it. You've been called the Intergalactic Emperor Daddy.
Okay.
How do you take on that role? How do you feel knowing that we call you Daddy?
No comment. I don't know. It's out of my hands. That's all I can say. It's out of my hands.
It's gone crazy. And I think it's a very enduring. Fans just love you, and it's a very cute title.
It's
but
fun.
It's just so funny because
Yeah.
it's everywhere. But I think it's also because of the show and the fact that your characters for both of you are so much fun to watch because we just never know what's going to happen. The finale of season 1 was crazy. Now we're 100, 200 years later, like coming into season 2. So where do we find both of your characters this season in terms of trying to kind of save the world and create a foundation?
Well, my character from last season is long dead,
Right.
and so I'm a whole new Cleon. And
Mhm.
this Emperor of the Galaxy is dealing with the fraying empire. There's threats without, there's threats within, and I'm about to find out that there's a foundation at the outer reach that poses an extreme threat to the survival of the empire. So he's stressed, and I think he's responding to his stress with, I think, a thing that's very common for earthbound men, which is, don't worry about it. I got control of everything. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit that guy. I'm going to, drop a bomb there. And he's ready to respond to anything with violence.
And though he's a different man, I would believe people will keep calling him daddy. I have no doubts. The daddy's back.
He's back. The show's back. I want to say for the first episode back, I had to bring it up. Everybody,
Of course.
we all call
Well, the whole plot this season is he wants to get married and be a daddy, be a Galactic Emperor daddy. That's the
that is
whole
so true.
point of season 1 is we've invited Queen Sereth to come to Trantor to be a bride, and he wants to end the genetic dynasty, and
the mommy's not happy.
And the Galactic mommy is not happy.
See, and Laura helped me out, so she brought it back. So I think Lee's starting to accept it, the daddy role.
Working on it.
Put it in script.
For both of you, I wanted to ask, what are you most excited about to see? Because this season is so much bigger. And I mean, it's even the first episode back. I mean, we're right in it. I mean, it starts right away with the two of you, and then with drama that starts right off the bat. So what are you most excited for fans to see? And how is this season going to kind of up season 1? Or what's going to be different about this season? Because season 1 was so good.
I feel as though season 1 really sets us up. Sets up the characters, sets up the world, sets up this inciting incident where Hari Seldon delivers his prophecy that the genetic dynasty will be the ruin of the empire. And in doing that, and it took us 10 hours to do it, but now the story starts. Now things actually start happening. The time is now. It's turning.
Yeah.
It's maybe already turned. And you've got all of these different perspectives fighting to kind of ensure the future of humankind, no less.
And everybody has their games on. I think it's kind of like now we have the base, and now the people the characters are playing their games, and I think it gets more entertaining. Like it gets fun and more playful and kind of The
time is now. Like the war is happening now. Like from this moment on, we may never recover. Like it's happening now. That's where I think the characters are. And there's so many. You've got Hari Seldon, who is proposing that, through logic, through rationality, there is hope for mankind. You've got a character like Cleon, who's like, the hope for mankind is dominant. It's this chaos that he creates. Chaos is a very attractive force in this world. For some reason or another, these black holes that, the galaxy can turn around. which I think is what's happening in the Cleonic household. A lot of our scenes are really of a family drama.
Yeah.
But that drama is the galaxy.
Up next is Kulvinder Ghir. Last season was so crazy and was so huge, and there was so much development with all of the characters. So, what's going on this season now that we're 200 years later? What's happening? Just give me all the information.
It has all that, what you just said about season one, but more. I think in this season, we actually get in touch with the real people as well. And that's me and you, that existence of the community that exists in Foundation, i.e., Terminus. We get to know a little bit more about who these people are. You'll get to know more about the idea of this crisis and what this crisis is. We used to call it the religious crisis. As much as it's not a religion, it's been sold as a religious ideas, as our prophet being Seldon. I think is more relatable in the humanity of it, where we are today, very much so with AI, where it is. It has all those signals of where we're heading as a peoples of the universe. What I found with this was, as the magnitudes of the epicness of the first and the second one, which is amazingly, it looks amazing, it's beautifully shot and made, but it's the details as well are more closer to our hearts and our emotions. So I feel that this crisis goes more into that, of our feelings, of our faith, of our beliefs, and we are questioning that a little bit more. I think that it adds more to that dimension from the first, and I think you get to see a little bit more of the journey of the peoples and what they're becoming and who they are.
Yeah, that's everything now. On my question. It's so true. And it's so interesting too, because in the beginning we learned about Terminus, we learned about the vaults, we learned about a lot of things. Are those obviously Terminus is gonna come up all during the season. Is the vault going to be something that we return to and discuss as to why some aren't affected by it and some are affected by it?
Yes, you'll see the doors of the vault open. So yeah,
okay.
there you go. So, and the rest is a revelation as well, and what that vault stands for and what it means and the need and who is the creator and the being of that vault. You get it all in this one here. I don't want to reveal too much as well. That's what I'm trying to do.
I saw it. I mean, it's amazing. The season's so much bigger. I don't know how it was even bigger than season one, but it is. It's bigger. The sets look bigger. The action's bigger. The emotion's bigger. So, yes. I mean, it's just incredible how I didn't think season one could be upped. I didn't think you guys could go bigger, and you did.
I think what I liked about it, this one as well, when working on it, it's much more detailed as well, to make it bigger, to make us more, gives us more kind of stability as an audience. It helps to make that kind of, to start answering a few questions. And I think it's going to be, obviously, as it develops more, the mysteries are going to unfold more and more, and slowly within the following seasons that come with this. The seeds have been planting at the moment. We're planting those seeds, and there are so many. It's the depth. It's very depth. It has a great depth in that sense. Foundation, very layered, and slowly that it's revealing itself. But it's generally really about us, where we are today.
Here's Lobel. For you, I'm so excited because you're such a badass on the show, and I just love your character so much. I'm so excited for season 2. So can you talk to me a little bit about, we're hundreds of years later, we have a new Brother Day. So can you talk to me about your character, where we pick up from, and what are we going to see from her this season?
Yeah, we get to pick up with Gale and Salvor exactly where we left off, which is so nice. You don't have to jump to another timeline, but it's tense. It's a kind of a moment of unsure. They're both unsure about what happens next, what they have to do. All they know is they have to get out of there and try and save what has been ruined thus far. So yeah, there's so much going on in Gale's mind. I think she's facing her daughter. She is considering facing Hari again. She needs to get off of this planet that's going to drown for good. So there's just so many different things going on at the same time, and she's just trying to juggle it all and place them and organize them to prioritize what she has to deal with first.
Last season was a lot of setting up, and this season's a lot of action.
Yeah.
So, what kind of action do you think we could see from from Lou this season in particular? Is she going to start, like, are there decisions that are going to start getting made? What can
Yeah.
you kind of tease a little bit about it?
Well, Gail gets a lot more responsibility this time round, and she has to make decisions for herself. She has to make decisions that probably other people wouldn't make or agree with for the greater good. And she does a bit of like unlike Gail things. Gail's like a sweet, kind, always honest kind of person, and she has to kind of go against that a little bit to save the situation, which is fun to watch.
This season seems so much bigger than last season, which I didn't even think was possible. Like the set,
Me
I
neither.
mean, just everything that you guys are doing. So I'm so excited because I saw all of it. I love it. It's so good. What are you most excited about for fans to see this season? And what's something that you feel like is a must see for this that you could kind of tease for this season? Because it's so much bigger than last season.
Yeah. So I'm excited for fans to like see all these different storylines and these different new characters like come together in this show, in this season. I think it's really interesting how everything is linked a lot more than last season, which is so fun. And the twists and turns are amazing. It's just super exciting. And what I'm most excited for, and things that they should be looking out for, are just keeping an eye out for like the Bel Rios and Hober Mallows, because they are two of the most incredible characters this season, and it's just unbelievable. And also just like watch the Mentalic Ignis stuff carefully is what I would say. Just like pay attention, because that's a fun little, there's some little nice juicy bits in there.
Finally, here's Leah Harvey. What can we expect this season with Salvar? Because there's so many changes and Salvar has so many special powers and things. So what are we going to see added on for this season?
Yeah, we're going to see, I think, more adventure, more stunts, more exciting things that Salvor gets to do. And we're going to see Salvor learn more about her powers and about her relationships and about who she is as a person as well, And I think that's going to be really fun to watch. And it was fun to do. So.
And then what was it like too? I know this was kind of like a season 1 situation, but I always wanted to know what it was like to be the first one, like the greatest mayors ever to like or to run everything, because there's all these men, on the show, and then we have like robot, we have all these like various different things. You were the first, so what did that feel like?
Yeah, Salvor's like the OG warden of Terminus,
Yes,
and it's really cool.
amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool, and there is a sense of because I worked like so much in season 1 with Foundation and with Terminus and all that thing, I know a lot about it. So in this story, in season 2, Foundation is still alive and kicking. They're doing their thing, and the actors that worked on it would also come to me with questions, and I'd answer them because I know what I'm talking about. So it's great. It's great. I had a real good knowledge of it all.
Do you think there'll also be any manipulation this season, like last season, or any targets that you think Salvar will go after?
Oh, I don't know actually. Like they're dealing with, we deal with crises in this show, and the crises tend to be quite big and sprawling, and I think those kinds of things make you feel quite small sometimes as a person as well. When we think about the world and what's going on in the world all the time, it can make us feel really small. I think Salvor is grappling with that actually more than she's grappling with an individual person. She's grappling with the idea of being a small cog in a really big machine. That's an interesting thing, I think, for someone to kind of really understand.
And then what about like her relationship too? Like, she's finding we're 200 years later than where we were from last season, but she's still building and working on her relationships. How is that going to go this season? Because I think there's been a lot of like mistrusting in the show, because you just never know who you're talking to, what replacements there's been. So how are her relationships going to kind of, I guess, form or develop over the season?
We're going to see her really delve into particular relationships, particularly with Gail. And, we'll see her kind of grapple with the idea of what she expected and then what the reality is. And it's great because we get to explore Salvor's character and personality in a different way from season 1, because season 1 was a lot of reacting in the moment to, what's happening outside. But here sometimes she's more in, and it's quite nice to do that, to do that antithesis of going in and then reacting to what's going on outside. So yeah, we'll see a lot of that stuff.
What are you most excited about for people to see that you could tease? And what are you hoping fans get out of this season? Because last season we were all like introduced to this world, but now we're learning even more about it.
I'm excited for people to see just the sprawling scope and how we've actually managed to make it even bigger than it was in the first season. And I think that's a real feat from the whole team. Every single person that worked on the show has really stepped up their game because they wanted to, it's a big team. Yeah. Everyone's really talented. And I think it really comes across on screen, and it's going to be great for people to see that we've actually made it bigger, better, bolder, more epic than we did in the first season. I mean, how cool is that?
Hope you guys enjoyed listening to the cast of Foundation talk about what we can expect for its upcoming season 2. It was fun to recap a little bit of season 1 and then talk about how far we've come from season 1 to season 2 and some of the things we teased a little bit of what you can expect. As a reminder, the first episode of Foundation season 2 will premiere globally on Friday, July 14th on Apple TV+, followed by one new episode weekly every Friday through September 15th. So make sure you head over to Apple TV Plus and check it out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're updated on all of our latest podcasts, and head over to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe so you'll be the first one to get notifications on video versions of all of these interviews.